Ah, there we go. New webcam, and it has a shutter on it. I'm like, why do I not have an image? So, it's been a while. This will be the most raw, uncut video I think I've ever done, where I'm just gonna talk and sit here and I guess just talk about what's been going on, where I've been the last 5 years. As you can see, still got my games back there. Nice new shelving unit that I set up. Got a nice new desk set up here with, you can see my consoles right next to me. Some of them anyway, the ones that'll be set up for easy access. But yeah, it's been a long bumpy ride since the last time I released a video, which was 2019, my Star Fox video, I think. After that, we did the podcast for a while, Game Fellas podcast, which was fun till I think the middle of COVID. And then, I don't know, it's hard to explain. This is probably going to be more of a mental health sort of video. I've never been shy about talking about the struggles I've had in life with my mental health and just everything. And this is the first time I've really had the courage to get in front of a camera to talk since five years now, just about. And you know, I'm not gonna pat myself on the back and say good job, but here I am. I finally did it, and I really just wanted to give an update here on the channel for anyone who still might care. I have no idea. I have a small niche channel, but I appreciate all 3,000 plus subscribers that subscribe, and especially the ones that, you know, ask me to continue and do more content. And what happened to the channel? Well, here I am. Here's the first of my new content. I wish it was some big fancy video that I spent 6 months working on, but that's not it. It's just me here in my office with one of my cats over here that you can't see, hanging out, Baloo. Both my cats have died since the last time I was on here. My God, so much has happened. Let me just start from the beginning. 2020, we were doing the Game Fellas podcast, which I really enjoyed, and I miss a lot of those guys. And COVID hit. And like a lot of people, COVID sort of changed me forever, I think. Not the disease itself. There's Chad. That's Chad. He's one of I had 2 girl cats, now I have 2 male cats. Mocha, if you're a super fan of this channel, I don't know if I have any, but if I do have a super fan, you'll notice that there's a meow at the end of most of my videos, and that was my cat Mocha, who on my very first video, Whip Rush, which is in my Genesis right here, she meowed at the end of my commentary, and I stuck that meow at the end of every commentary after that. And poor Mocha died in 2021. She was only 10 years old. She had liver failure. Me and my wife gave her intravenous fluids for a whole year. Gave her an extra year of life, and she passed in 2021. And then my other cat, Starla, passed 2024. She was just old, had seizures, and you know. So anyway, in the meantime, he adopted Chad and Baloo, who you can't see, but who's sitting on my printer over here. Anyway, what was I talking about? COVID. COVID destroyed my drive. It destroyed my soul, sort of. It made me super depressed. I already had mental health issues, but it sort of just sucked the fun out of life. And it wasn't just because of lockdown and the disease itself and all the horrible shit going on. It just, it made people crazy. Not that people online weren't already crazy. There's plenty of crazy people online, but I quit all social media, everything. Reddit is the only platform I've stayed on, and I don't really share much about any sort of creative projects because I haven't had any in 5 years. Not much anyway. And I stayed there because I wanted to have some sort of connection with the internet at large. But I abandoned everything else, including this channel. I just sort of retreated into a hole and then I couldn't get out of for 5 years. And it was rough, you know, really, really rough. And, you know, after COVID, more things happened. What else? Like I said, so much has happened in my life. As you can see, I'm unshaven, a little more bald than even before. I'm in my work clothes. I just got done working, and I just felt the need to record this. And you know, because I was just I'm in a better mindset now than I've been in many years. So I wanted to take the opportunity to do that. So, but before I get into the good stuff, I want to continue with what was going on in my life. So much has happened, a lot of personal things that I won't get into, but it's, if anyone knows me well enough, they know I'm also an avid diver, and I do aquariums for a living. It's what I've done pretty much my whole life. I wouldn't know any other way to live and work, and I love my job, and my job is the only thing that kept me sort of sane through this whole last 5 years of worldwide insanity, is the way I see it. Well, it's not the only thing that kept me sane. I have a wonderful wife and some great nieces and nephews and family and friends that have helped too. But working helped so much, and getting more involved in my aquariums again helped. I guess the whole point of me saying this was, even with that, in 2023, we had a heat dome over the US. I won't get into the politics and climate change and all that stuff because I know nobody wants to hear about that. But the reefs, the reefs are one of my favorite things in the world. Video games too, obviously, but the reefs are the other. Diving, scuba diving, collecting fish, coral, all that stuff. And they've been in dire straits for, you know, decades now. But in 2023, the summer, we had a heat dome that wiped out most of the reefs in Florida here. Reefs I've dove on most of my life. And I went down to the Florida Keys and dove on those reefs in 23, and it was a graveyard. If I get adventurous, maybe I'll include some footage here, but probably not. I'm probably just going to upload this the way it is. I don't even have a subscription to Adobe anymore to edit this video. So whatever, you're just going to get what you're going to get for now. But I went into another deep depression after that. I know it's something that it was reported on, but there's so much other stuff going on in the world. So few people care about that sort of thing, at least the way I see it. But that just also sort of killed any other creative drive that I had. And then I had some personal turmoil the last year that further put me into a very deep depression, anxiety, PTSD sort of stuff. And I've spoken before. I think I did a video on this channel about anxiety and how SHMUP Master helped me with it, practicing games and getting good, and the focus, you know, the strict, direct focus that it took to beat a game without dying or without getting hit, whatever, you know. Goals, accomplishments. Those are all things that help with an anxious mind and with depression, at least for me, you know, and I lost that. I really lost that the last 5 years. And I'm here to say now that I'm done with that attitude. This guy right here has helped, the Buddha. I've been studying Buddhism, gotten into meditation, stuff like that. That has helped a lot, making me realize that there's always worse things in the world than what's happening to me. I live in luxury compared to most of the people in this world. I feel ashamed for even saying that I've been depressed or not happy, whatever. It seems absurd compared to what, you know, people in war-torn countries are going through right now. So I'm here to say I'm done with that attitude, and I have missed. I realized that one of the major things missing in my life was this, was YouTube. As much as I hate the algorithm game, and I hate what happened to social media after COVID, and why I quit all social media, just because I couldn't handle the polarization of everyone about every topic, including video games I love. People couldn't even agree on what games were good, what games were bad. But I'm past that now. At least I think that I mostly am. And it took a lot of self-reflection for me to figure it out. And this crisis and then that happened in the last year of my life really pushed me back towards the things I love. The passion I have for retro gaming in general. And look, I never stopped gaming throughout this. In fact, I played the game Factorio for about 3 years straight during COVID. That helped me get through it. But, look at that, I got 1,500 hours in that game or something since 2020. So I never stopped gaming, but I did pull away from the stuff, my classic shmups and games that I loved. But something changed this year, and a friend of mine said, why don't you start streaming? And I'm like, you're crazy. I'm not comfortable enough to do that. I've never done live things. I've done videos, but it's all rehearsed, and I would do a million takes. But I started thinking more and more about it, and then I pulled out my old consoles and I looked into 4K upscaling, which is now readily available with the RetroTink 4K, which I have sitting right here. So I bought that and I set that up out of my living room TV, and I played through Final Fantasy IV, which is really my first RPG I ever played back in the early 90s. And it reawakened all this for me. Not only that, but I used the RetroTink's CRT filters, which are just amazing. It made me feel like I was playing Final Fantasy on a CRT TV again, like I was a kid. And let me tell you something, for as divisive as the word nostalgia can be, and how people are like, oh, that's not good, it's just nostalgia, I don't care about that. Nostalgia is powerful, and I realized if I leaned into that more, it helped my mental health. I bought this shelf back here a couple months ago, and I reorganized all my games alphabetically, put them all up for display, other than a couple of dividers in there you can see sticking out. But nostalgia, I think, is important for our mental health, because it's about happiness. Nostalgia is only about good things. No one has nostalgia for bad times. People have nostalgia for good times. And these video games were the best times for me. And I've talked about it in my videos. My grandmother's house on Singer Island in South Florida. Being there on the weekends, playing Nintendo and Genesis with my brother and sister. And I lean into that now, and I think about that, and it makes me happy. And you can't recreate what once was the way it was. You have to move past that, which I have, But you can lean into these games, which still exist and are still fun, to me anyway. I get that retro stuff is not for everybody. There's plenty of archaic game mechanics and, whatever. But a lot of these games still hold up pretty well and are fun to play now. Final Fantasy IV, I had a blast playing that game. It's a pretty quick play. You can get through it in like 20 hours. It's the combat's a little repetitive, and the characters are not super fleshed out, but that game had Cecil, the main character, was the first video game character I can remember, for me anyway, that had an actual character arc for his character. He starts as the Dark Knight, ends as a Paladin, and it grows throughout the story, And re-experiencing that again was sort of huge for me, and it made me think of myself in some ways, and how You know, look, I'm grayer, I'm older. I'm in my 40s now. Last time I released a video, I was in my 30s. That's how long it's been. God. But it's important, and so I want to get back to that. I'm not going to make any promises. My channel is littered with update videos with promises that were never kept, like a lot of YouTubers that just, something happens in life and they disappear. I've got lots of friends from other channels that I wish I could find, and they're just nowhere to be found, you know? I feel like that was me too. I just disappeared off the internet for the most part, and I'm going to cautiously dip my toes back in. I'm not going to make any promises about videos. I don't know what I'm going to do video-wise, if anything, going forward. But there is one thing I can say, one promise that I can keep, because I've been preparing for it, and that is I'm going to stream. I'm going to start streaming. I don't care if one person shows up. It's going to be fun. I've got my cats. They're going to be hanging out with me when I'm doing it. I've been talking to friends that would like to do some two-player retro stuff on the stream. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's what I want to focus on. So if you're into that sort of thing, cool, you know, you can come join me and my cats. I got some pretty cool ideas and things I can do. There will be shmups, plenty of shmups, but there will also be other games. I'm going to stream whatever the hell I want. I might stream modern stuff. I'd love to stream Mugenics. I don't know if you know what Mugenics is, but it's this cat-based kind of edgelord humor strategy game done by the guy who did Binding of Isaac. I've been having fun in that game lately. That would be fun to stream. But the focus will be mostly classic stuff, you know, and I haven't got it figured out exactly the schedule, but that is going to be my personal goal, is to try and keep some sort of monthly schedule. Maybe not the same every week, but because my schedule is variable, I work a lot. I've had a lot of changes in my business. I'm working more than I used to. But I feel like it's going to be fun. That's the whole point in me wanting to do this, is to have fun, to reconnect with happiness. This right here, this is happiness. And it always has been for me, and it always will be. And I want to share that joy with anyone who wants to watch, no matter who that might be. Like I said, maybe it'll be nobody. That's fine. If I just can find a couple of friends to come hang out and we do this, that's all I care about, you know. And we'll see what happens. I've thought about making another video, you know. I've thought about it for years, and every time I thought about it, it was just, I would get anxious. Because when I do a video, I commit 1000%. And if you're someone who's followed this channel, you've seen the growth to the point where with my Toe Jam and Earl video, I went back and watched that the other day for the first time in 6 years, and I couldn't even remember how I did some of it. I'm like, this took me so long. So, I don't know. I'm not gonna make any promises about videos, but we'll see what happens. Streaming, definitely something I'm gonna do. I don't know when yet. It won't be too much longer, but it'll happen at some point here in the not too distant future. Once I get everything squared away, I want to do it right. I want to do it, you know, as professionally as I can. So I'm getting set up. As you can see, I've already got this part set up, but I got some other ideas that I'd like to do that would make it a little more fun and more unique than your typical stream, I guess you could say. Right, Chad? Right, buddy? Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Where are you running from? This is Chad. This is my buddy Chad. Chad is a Reddit star. He went viral on Reddit when I got him. I did share a picture of him on Reddit, even though I'm off most social media. And he's a sweet boy. He's a very sweet boy, and I love him. And here comes Baloo. Baloo is probably going to walk in front of the screen here. Hey, buddy. These are my buds, and they're going to be hanging out too when I stream. I'm going to have to try and, like, you know, keep them from messing with the stream itself, but you know, or resetting the damn console, which I could see Baloo walking by and hitting the reset button on the Nintendo. So anyway, these are my boys, my loves, and you know, and he's a sneezy boy too. So anyway, that's it. That's your Shmup Master update. First one in 5 years. And I'm looking forward to the future. And I just wanted to let anyone know who still cares. Later.